That's right, we're right back here, Sharp Facets Gallery this afternoon, 4:07 in the afternoon. And I have one of our favorite guests right here to keep us up on how to maybe help keep ahead of what's going to be happening here since spring has finally sprung. I have Dwight Long, city gardener here, and a master gardener, I might add, doing all kinds of masterful things in uptown Greenwood. Sure looks great up there.
Well, I do appreciate it, Nan.
And we are so excited to see that, gosh, we got the Masters this week, and everything has just popped out, hasn't it?
It has. I'm glad we had the cold weather. I didn't like working in it, and I'm sure the guys working with me didn't like it either, but we had to do it. But it did kind of slow things down. Last year, everything bloomed out a little bit early, and this year it was a little bit late, but man, when they popped, it certainly popped, and they just all came out.
Yeah, and of course the pollen, last weekend, the pollen was just horrible, wasn't it?
It is, and you don't want to look at my car right now.
Exactly. But, you know, there's been a lot of changes in Uptown. They've done that Oak Street project. They've put swings up there by Howard's. And what all is going on up there?
Well, the thing that we did with Oak Street that's a little bit different is, here it is. It's called Oak Street, and we've got maples on it.
Okay.
But we wanted to get a little bit more diversity of the trees around town. And the maples are going to give us some color. And the maples that we do have in place are a little bit taller and narrower and will fit better in the little bump outs that we have there. And we've got some ginkgos that are going in, so they're going to have some nice fall color too. We've got a couple different types of red buds. We've got an Avondale, and we have a forest pansy, which is purple leaves.
How about that?
Yeah, it's purple leaves, and they are heart-shaped. So that's something a little bit different. So we just wanted to put a little bit different looking landscape downtown.
Well, you know, everything that it keeps happening up there certainly makes it so much more beautiful. And then, of course, with the water features that are being added, and I understand you're getting ready to add another water feature uptown.
That's right. Some people just say that's going to be the swimming pool. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll have to put some piranha in there to keep the people out of it. But it's
well, that's not very friendly.
But it won't. It's not going to have any fish in it.
Okay.
It's just going to have live plants. It'll be in the neighborhood of 3,000 gallons, which to me is not really huge, but it's I would say a medium to kind of a small large, if you will.
Now, where's that going to be?
And it's going to go where the swings are at Howard's, at the corner of Main and Oak Street. And there's an area there. It's where the Camry did go. And
okay.
So now we're going to put that pond in, or the water feature, let's say.
Well, there's a grassy area right there right now.
No, it's just a... Well, there's a grassy area around the swings, yes, and it goes into a larger beside the Pirelli building, I believe that's the name of the building. And it's a large grass area. It looks really great, so people should just go down there and just take a look at the grass, because right now it looks super.
But where's the pond going to go in relation to that, or the water feature,
The pond will go where the flagpole is, or just to the left of the flagpole. There was a monument there that we moved back toward Howard's against that building. And so the pond is going to go in that area.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll start working on that sometime next week.
And you said it was going to have a couple of waterfalls? That's
right, a couple of waterfalls, and pretty nice. It's a lot of water is going to pump through that thing.
Yeah.
And we're not. And when it's running, it's going to look pretty nice, I think.
Sure. Now, and also understand, what are you going to have, all white plants in it?
That's right. The plants that we're putting in there are all white blooming. They're going to, of course, bloom during the daytime. Some of the plants are going to kind of glow at night, if you will. And in the pond, we're going to have a couple of three water lilies. One of them is a hardy. It's going to bloom during the daytime, and then the two tropicals will bloom at night. And maybe some of the listeners could tell me. This is just kind of a question for the listeners.
Okay.
And I don't know what you want to give them. You may not want to give them anything.
Oh, I'm a very giving person. Everybody knows that. Okay.
All right. What is the difference between the tropical water lilies in appearance and the regular hardy water lilies?
Wow, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I think we'll have to give I tell you what, we will give a car wash to the first person that can call and correctly give us the answer. So I guess, Ree, you would just have to write these down, and then Dwight would have to give us what the right answer is. So, if you'd like to win a car wash from our car wash here, from John's Frank's Car Wash. Hello, John. Okay, from Frank's Car Wash. All you got to do is give us a call, 229-7984. That's 229-7984. What is the difference between
a tropical water lily and just a normal hardy water lily that would live through the winter here? And that's a little bit of a hint, but there still is an appearance.
Okay.
Now, the two tropicals that we're putting in are night bloomers.
Okay.
So we're going to.
But that's not the answer.
That's not the answer.
Okay.
But they are night bloomers, and I'm not going to describe what happens with the rest of it.
Okay.
But we'll have blooms and color throughout the night. Is what I wanted to do there. What we wanted to do there.
Wow.
So I think it's going to look pretty nice.
Okay, so if you're a gardener and you think you know the answer to the question, what is the difference between a tropical
water lily in the appearance,
and a regular water lily?
That's right.
Okay, you know the answer? Pick up that phone. This isn't one of those easy questions that I ask on Giveaway Friday, but you will win a car wash from Frank's Car Wash. That's an $18 value for answering the question. So 229-7984.
Now, can I answer it? Because my car has pollen all over it.
Well, no, you can't, because you asked a question, so you can't answer it, too.
Okay, sorry.
All right. So if you know the answer to the question, pick up the phone, give us a call. You could win a car wash right here from Frank's Car Wash. So let's do that, and let's hear a quick word from our sponsors. When we come back, we should have a winner right here on WCRS. Okay, we're right back here, Sharp Facets Gallery. Dwight, you know what? We haven't had a call yet on the difference between a tropical water lily and a regular water lily. There are two things that really set these two apart. I can't give you the answer, although I know the answer, but, 229-7984. One has to do with how it sits in the water. I guess that would be a good. And one has to do, the other part of the answer is what the leaves look like. So is that a fair cue?
That would be fair.
Okay. So those are the two things that you're thinking about when you're thinking about the difference between tropical water lilies and our regular water lilies. So if you know the answer or want to take a stab at it, you could win an $18 car wash from Frank's Car Wash. 229-7984. That's 229-7984. We are going to talk a little bit more about this water feature because you are going to be blown away when you hear about the mermaid. The mermaid sounds fantastic. 9 feet tall?
It's going to be 9 feet tall. We'll have to put probably a light for the low-flying aircraft.
Yeah.
We'll put something
a beaker on it, a flashing light.
Right.
Yeah.
Make the eyes flash or something. But it's 9 feet tall.
Okay.
And it's got a very long hair. We couldn't really make it bush out a little bit. We'll have to work on that maybe next year. But it's going to be sitting on a pier.
Okay.
I keep saying it. So I don't know if a mermaid's
it's
he,
a she.
So I think an it.
She.
We'll just call
she.
it that.
She.
And I believe they have a name for it now. I'm not sure what the name is. This is Piedmont Plastic Surgery, and I believe the name.
Did they come up with the name of Lynn?
Oh, that's close. It's close, but that one that's a single cylinder.
Right.
I mean, syllable.
Right.
Yeah, syllable. But it's 2 syllables.
2 syllables.
It does start with an L.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking of Lynn Vaughn. Lynn Vaughn.
I
that's
didn't
right.
know that.
Yeah, there you go. That's
I'm sorry. So I apologize to Lynn Vaughn.
Okay.
And,
that's why I thought it might be Lynn.
Yeah, I guess I'm not going to get that car wash.
Probably not. Lynn's probably listening right now. She's going to call. Don't you dare give him a car wash.
But right, and they'll have it's get planted with multiple types of plants in it. So I think everybody's gonna be excited with it. We're gonna see if we can't put maybe some lights in the hair.
Wow.
To make it look a little bit better. We'll have a little bit of fog in the water in the evenings. If the wind is up, the fog will just disappear. But if it's calm, you'll have fog in the pond. So I think that'll be real nice.
Now, and not only that, you said what kind of plants are going to be coming across going into the water?
That would be the parrot's feather.
And the tail, I guess we'd say. Yes.
The tail is going to be partially out of the water, and what the parrot's feather will do is just kind of flow down and into the water and just kind of spread out into the water.
Well, you know, it's really made a difference when you talk about doing the topiaries and everything, to have an uptown greenhouse where you can grow and watch and really develop each of these topiaries. But each one is a little bit different, so they all require a little bit different care.
That's right. They are, and we've learned a lot. Every year, I think this is going on 7 years, I think, with it.
Has it been that long? I think it has.
I started about 7 years ago on it.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of changes. 13 topiaries the first year.
How many we got?
And I think they were all maybe 2 different types of plants.
Yeah.
It was a red begonia and a green one.
Yeah.
So now we're up to probably 40 or 50 different type plants. And we've got 41. This year is 41 topiaries.
41 topiaries.
41 topiaries.
Wow.
And this year we had to tear a few of them down. One of them got tackled. T-Rex got tackled last year and broke it, so we had to tear it apart and rebuild it. And the lion got rebuilt. It's got some different plants in it. It's going to look a little bit different. The Jeep, we pulled all the plants out of the Jeep. The Jeep is multicolored. It won't look like VW anymore.
As it grows out,
it grows out,
yeah.
it's going to have lower plants and plant material on it, so it's going to look nice. You will not. The Jeep really does look good.
Well,
I'm really pleased with it, and Ann and the crew there have done a great job putting that together. And the Jeep is actually was planted by the master gardeners.
Was it? Cool.
Right. They were in there today. In fact, they're maintaining it. And they'll probably maintain it when it's on the square. But the Jeep looks great this year.
You know, one of the things that I think we don't think about is, you know, yes, you have to grow them and everything all during the winter and this early spring season. But then it comes when you actually put them all out. And this is where it really gets tricky, because you've got to have enough water. And all of them, aren't you watering from the inside? They have water and hoses inside them now?
That's correct. We have drip irrigation system inside the topiaries. And we do have water at each location. We don't have 120 at each one, so we'll have batteries on some of them. And it makes it a whole lot easier, that's for sure.
But it still takes so much work to keep them looking good while they're outside in the elements, the sun. You can't tell whether it's going to be really hot or how much sun or how much rain you're going to get during that time period.
That's right.
And that's a long period, because they'll actually go out, the 1st of June?
We usually put them out the last week of May, right before the first kickoff.
Right.
And then they'll sit out there until we have the Festival of Discovery.
Yeah.
And some of them may not make it that long. We're hoping that they will, but some of the smaller ones may not. They'll get pretty well stressed out. Last year was unusual in that we had a lot of water, a lot of rain. We didn't have to worry so much about the things drying out. Excuse me. But we did have to worry about some of the plant material that got too wet, and it died because it was too wet.
Sure. So those will be out for, at least a good 6 weeks. 6 weeks,
Yeah,
right.
6 weeks. Yeah.
And then, of course, I understand that you're taking some of them out to the links at Stony Point.
That's right.
For the Symetra tour.
That's right. There's going to be 6 of them. We'll have the large elephant, the small elephant, the horse, the large giraffe, the swan, and the butterfly.
Wow.
They're all going out.
You know, I thought last year the butterfly looked spectacular.
Looks spectacular this
Last
year, too.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it does, but I really thought, last year it was particularly beautiful.
It is.
Excuse me.
Well, I'm coughing too. You know, it must be that pollen that's on my car.
Must be.
But this year we had to tear a few of them down and replace the moss in it and just start from scratch with it. Next year we're going to have to tear the elephant down. That's going to take a lot of moss.
Right.
And we'll have to tear the horse and some of the others down and refurbish them. The moss doesn't last forever. But now, as far as growing the plants, last year we had ordered a lot of plants, and so the plugs that we did have last year, we reduced that number greatly for this year. And next year we'll probably grow everything because we can create all of the plugs and any of the propagation we can do.
And that makes a big difference in cost, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. I think a few years ago it was in the neighborhood of 15,000 to 18,000.
Right.
Last year it was 8. This year it's going to be less than 3, and next year probably be less than 500 because we can grow them.
What a difference that's going to make.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely. Okay, well, I am ready to hear about the difference between a tropical water lily and a regular water lily. It's the difference between how the bloom pops up and how the leaf. Now we're going to give you one more chance here, 229-7984, and then it looks like if nobody answers, Dwight's going to win the car wash, because somebody has to win since we've now put it out there.
So I know somebody out there knows it.
Knows the difference. Yeah, there should be a master gardener listening out there, right? Yes, that should be able to tell us. So give us a call, 229-7984. What is the difference between a tropical water lily and a regular water lily? Do you know the answer? Give us a call, 229-7984. Looking for a winner here. I'd love to give away a car wash to you. Hey, that's what I'm doing here, just learning a lot. And, you know, that is the one thing, Dwight. There is so much to learn about all these plants and everything. Keeps you very busy, and you keep adding more to the uptown with the flowers and whatnot that you put up there.
Right. We like to mix things up, and every year we're going to have something different out. This year was a little bit bad for us. It was cold. We lost some things, and we redesigned some areas, and maybe some areas not going to have the flowers, but some of them they will. Right now the irises are beginning to bloom. So the irises that we do have, and we thank those people who have donated irises to us. We have found bags of irises on the fence. So when we go in the mornings, we'll see irises, and then we'll go put them out, and we do put them somewhere in town.
Wow.
They are there. So I don't throw too much away, hardly anything.
That's terrific. Now it has to be getting a little crowded in that greenhouse, though, if you have 41 topiaries in there.
It is. When we have to move something out now, we have to move quite a few. To move one, we move about 3.
And you've got them all like on pallets and wheels, right?
That's
so
right.
They can move around.
Each one has a caster, except the mermaid doesn't have casters yet. We have right now. It's just sitting on some older pieces of wood, but those pieces of wood have casters on them. But we can move it around, and then when the tournament's coming,
right?
And we've got to get those out, so we're going to have to move some pretty large ones out, and it'll be a bit of a chore, but we'll make it.
You know, one of the things that the topiaries have brought here to us is they certainly have set Greenwood apart from just about any other part of the state. Hey, I tell you what, it's time for South Carolina Radio News. When we come back, we need a winner. What's the difference between a tropical water lily and a regular water lily? Know the answer? 229-7984. That's 229-7984. We'll be right back.
Ugh, are you a pirate or a pack rat? Do you have a vacation of a lifetime sitting in the attic? Or a college tuition hung on a wall? Or is a fabulous retirement hidden in your jewelry box? Bring those items to Sharp Facets Gallery. We can establish value and buy from you or sell for you. And so ends another chapter at Sharp Facets Gallery, 72 Bypass, and on the web, sharpfacets.com.
that's right. We're right back here, Sharp Facets Gallery with Dwight. Hey, listen, I think Ree just posted on Facebook the question. I'm going to give it a few more minutes since we did post it on Facebook just now, WCRS AM Radio. If you go there and can answer the question, you're going to win a free car wash. Here's the question. Dwight, you want to ask the question?
Yes, there's a difference between a hardy water lily and a tropical. Now,
we're looking for the physical.
Yeah, looking for the physical attributes that are different. Not so much, the tropical, of course, it's going to die back, and it's just going to die in the wintertime. A hardy water lily will live in the water throughout the year around here, but the tropical won't. But that's just the.
So the physical attributes that makes them different.
Flower and leaf.
And leaf, that's right. So if you know the answer, you can call us, 229-7984. If you're on Facebook, you can answer through Facebook. We'll let it go till about 1:45, and then we are going to either award the gift certificate for the car wash to Dwight, because he knows the answer, or we'll give it to somebody else who actually answers the question. But one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize, Dwight, is how much work it takes to keep the topiaries all year long. Yes, they're out for 6 weeks plus, but then they go back in, and I guess you can't just let them sit there all winter.
No, some people think that we plant them about 2 weeks before we put them out and then bring them back in and do nothing with them. But that's not the case. We're already talking about next year. We have to plan ahead. We have to know what we're going to do.
I think you're going to need a bigger greenhouse the way you're talking.
Well, it's a little bit crowded right now.
Yep.
But the topiaries are worked on all year. We do something to them every week of the year. When they're out on the square, we're maintaining them. You'll see us out there, and that's where Ann and her crew comes in, and she's done a great job. But maintenance goes on. If we have to tear one down, then we're going to tear it down probably the tail end of this year. When they come back off the square, we get them all kind of back in place and let them calm down a bit, then we're going to start tearing them down. And we have 3 or 4 that the large ones we're going to have to tear down for next year. And then we'll either redesign, we're also thinking about the design, what kind of plants we're going to put on this year. The plants that we have this year may not do well, so we're thinking about, we have to find more plants for them next year.
Sure.
But we do maintain those things constantly. And then we have the schools. We take the topiaries in March out to the schools that they're going to plant. So that has got to be done. And
so that's already in progress. They're already
well,
working
it's already
on it.
done.
Right.
It's gone to the schools, and I really do thank the kids that have done it. They really enjoy it. And we certainly appreciate it. It kind of helps us out a little bit.
Sure.
But when it all grows together, the kids just have a good. And the kids need to come out and take a look at these things. They look different this year. All of the topiaries look different.
I think that's great because, you can get kind of complacent about it and say, oh, I've seen the topiaries. Oh, I've seen Uptown. Even though they're beautiful, I've seen it. And you don't make that push to go look at them.
Right. But since we can grow the plants, we're going to make an effort that all of the topiaries, they're not going to look the same every year. They're going to be in different locations this year.
Okay.
So if you like the butterfly,
right,
say, it's not going to be in the same place as it was this year. So everybody's going to have to walk around a little bit more and just kind of discover where the topiaries are going to be this year.
All right, we're going to talk about one more topiary effect, and then we got to talk about pruning and taking care of your own yard and whatnot. But there is a new feature that's going to be featured this year, and that is, we've got some new topiaries, but also you're going to have the face where you can take a picture with your face in a flower, can't you?
That's right.
Yeah, what's that going to be called exactly?
I think we're calling it the photo op topiary. I'm not really sure. It's been called quite a few things. But
has it been called difficult?
It's a little bit difficult, but it's got 4 openings.
Okay.
For the people to put their heads through, and we'll try to keep the spiders from setting up home across those openings.
Sure.
But they can go in for a couple of kids, mother, father, thing, and
Got a family photo, huh?
That's family photo. Now, what I've always wondered, if you've got 4 people in the family, who's going to take the picture?
Yeah.
Because we got 4 holes in it for
Sure.
the people. So I don't know who's going to take the picture.
There'll be an official photographer standing by right out there.
It won't be a city employee.
No, probably not, but somebody that can stand there, and you know how everybody
Sure. There's
loves
always,
taking their pictures.
Right,
Yeah.
right. There's always going to be somebody coming by.
So that'll be that's another neat feature.
Uh-huh.
But so you've got the greenhouse; it's full up. You've got enough people working on all the things there. You've got enough people working.
Right now, everything is pretty well 98% planted.
Okay.
So we're getting into maintenance mode right now. So it's one of those things where you just kind of wait for things to grow out, and in that time frame, you're trimming, you're pruning, you're trying to, those things that didn't want to grow in a specific area, then we have to replace them.
Sure. Okay, so we've got the topiaries. We've been talking a lot about that. But this is the time of the year, Dwight, where people always are trying to figure out to prune or not to prune. When is the best time? What can you tell us about, the bushes and everything that are growing rampant right now?
Okay, this is a good rule of thumb.
Okay.
Anything that blooms in the spring, let's say shrubs, let's say azaleas in particular, they're beginning to bloom right now. Those that bloom early can be pruned right after they finish blooming.
Okay.
So if you need to cut them back, that's when you cut them back. Those that bloom in the summertime, you want to cut those back in the early spring.
Okay.
Since they really should have been cut back. Now some shrubs right now, spireas and so forth, you can prune those just about any time and they're going to bloom, it doesn't matter what. And we do that downtown. When spireas do stop blooming, we'll go down there and prune, and they'll come back and have some new blooms on them. And then the daffodils right now, which, that could be another question, but since, but the daffodils, they're called narcissus, daffodils, and jonquils.
Right.
So all of those are the same.
Okay. We had a winner.
A
Okay.
winner.
All right, go ahead.
Okay,
Anyways.
and then what you don't want to do with the daffodils, once they finish blooming right now, you've got to leave those things sitting up. You got to leave those leaves on them
Right.
for 6 weeks,
Okay.
or until they fall over, and then you can remove them. And that's so that the bulb will store energy for next year, because it's going to go dormant, and it's going to sit there and do nothing until December,
Wow.
and then they'll start popping up,
Sure.
and they won't bloom until say a few weeks after that, but you just need to leave those alone.
Now, what about people that, they cut their trees, their shrubs, I guess, their big shrubs, all the way back to the...
Right, that's called a renewal pruning,
Okay.
and that's where a shrub will get too large and you're going to have to really cut it back severely, is a renewal pruning. And most shrubs will come back from that, but you've got to do that in the really late winter.
Okay.
To
Before
really
they
have
actually
good-
start
right,
blooming or
right
leaf
before they
leaves
start
popping.
popping out. But they'll still most of the shrubs like the hollies and so forth, they're gonna come around. Doesn't matter what you do, they're gonna come back. Kind of like the crepe myrtles, they're hard to kill.
To kill. Okay. All right. So, but that is always a question: how to prune it and how to know exactly what to do, and what if you do too much to it.
It again depends on the shrub. Sometimes if you do too much too early or too much too late, you just may not get a bloom until the following year.
Okay.
Hydrangeas are that way. If you get one that is blooming on new wood, and then you've got those that bloom on the old wood.
Okay.
So those you have to be careful. Now, let's say if it's an old wood kind of hydrangea, then you're going to cut a third of the stalks or the stems back. You'll cut a third of those every year back, and you'll cut them back to say 8 inches, 8 to 10 inches, 12 inches above grade, and then leave the others. And then the next year you do another third. So you're cutting a third every year.
Okay.
And so it makes it easier to have blooms all the time. So if you cut it all down, you may not have any blooms until the following year. But if you need to do it, you got to do it.
That's right. You
Yeah.
got to do it, right? Yeah.
Right. So, but anyway, you got a question.
Well, no, I was just trying to figure out how you make those decisions for pruning. One of the things I was going to say though, the master gardeners, great resource, aren't they?
Definitely, and you can call the Clemson Extension office, and there's going to be a master gardener there pretty much all the time, and so that's a very good resource. You can go to the Clemson website. You
Okay.
can go. That would probably be as good. But when I usually like to hear somebody talking to me, and so I like to call the person instead of trying to find the information on the internet, even though I can find it pretty quick.
Sure.
There are other things, because those information on the website maybe it's not going to take care of it for those in your area,
Sure.
where depending on the website you go to, they may be in Florida.
Okay.
So it's going to
Be
be different down in Florida. So but going to the Clemson website, you're going to at least be close
To the state.
to the state, and so that's going to be more accurate.
Now, do you happen to know the telephone
Oh
number?
no,
You don't know
me.
that?
No, I'm
Oh, okay.
sorry.
All right.
I'm
Well, we'll
sorry.
try to look it up after we take our break here. But the Clemson Extension, I tell you another thing that the Clemson Extension is real good is doing a soil sample so you can decide what to plant or what you need to feed. Isn't that right?
That's right. That's right. Soil samples really this time of year it's kind of late for them,
Okay.
especially for grass. It should have been done maybe 6 months ago.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
6 to maybe 5 months ago.
Well, what
And
if
that
I'm
was-
getting ready to plant a garden though, and I want to know if I need to? Can I still take it now?
Sure. You can take it in there,
Okay.
and they'll tell you what. You just tell them what you want to plant, and they're going to tell you based on that soil sample what you need to do to it to get a good crop.
Sure. Now you're not planting any vegetables uptown, are you?
No.
No? Okay, I just wondered.
Sorry.
I thought maybe over there at the farmer's market you'd have a little farm area where you could be growing some vegetables that they could just pull off there.
I think that is one of the things that we may be doing is in the farmer's market we might be putting a small,
Vegetable
not this
garden.
year, but possibly in the future to have a small vegetable garden there.
Show you how to do
Sure.
it and everything. And of course the
Right.
Healthy Neighborhoods all over Greenwood is doing garden plots too.
There are a lot of garden plots around Greenwood. I'm really surprised. I'm glad to see them. I'm glad
Sure.
to see them.
So community gardens, I guess.
Community
would go.
gardens, that's
Yep.
right. And so it's good that everybody can get involved in it. I know one of the master gardeners, she is heavily involved in, and maybe that's somebody that you can get on here, because it would be great.
Sure.
And she's heavily involved in it. We give her some soil from time to time. And it's extremely rewarding.
Sure. And everybody gets to partake. And that's
Sure.
the one thing about doing a garden. Because if you really get into it and you grow a lot, you can't eat it all. And
That's right.
sometimes it's difficult to give it away, even though you can do it. But also you hate to waste any. So a
Right.
community garden is a great way for everybody to partake onto what's being grown.
Sure, and the people that are involved in it, the community, it makes them feel good that
Yeah.
they've got something that they've grown and they can eat, and it doesn't cost them hardly anything at all.
Just sweat equity.
That's right.
All right. Hey, I tell you what, we got to announce. Jennifer Alexander, she said the shape of the leaves.
That's
so
right.
she will get our gift certificate to get a free car wash, an $18 car wash. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for putting that in. She saw it on Facebook and gave us a call. So how
That's-
about that?
That's great. And the two things that are going to set the two apart is the leaf edges on a hardy water lily are smooth,
Right.
whereas on the tropical it's serrated.
And the other part?
And the other part is the flowers are typically they bloom above water,
Right.
and the hardy water lily will bloom right on top of the water, on the surface.
That's right. See, you learn something every day, particularly when you tune right into WCRS. Hey, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. All right, right, we're here with Dwight Long this afternoon, having a good time. Jennifer Alexander won the gift certificate for an $18 deluxe car wash at Frank's Car Wash. Congratulations, Jennifer. You know, Dwight likes to play this game, but we're going to run out of time before we get a winner here. So we will save this for another time. Maybe you could come back for Giveaway Friday one afternoon.
That would be good. We can make, but I don't know if my questions might not be as difficult as the ones you asked.
I think yours are a little more difficult, yes. But we might have you back for Giveaway Friday. That could be
good.
fun. Yeah.
Sure.
Now, one of the things that you and I were just talking off the air is, how many, like, pansies, uptown Greenwood, how many pansies have been put out there? Looks like maybe, I don't know, a couple thousand?
We put out 10,000.
Oh, come on, Dwight.
Yes, we, it doesn't look it,
Right?
but there are 10,000 pansies downtown.
Wow.
Right. And they're looking pretty good right now,
Yeah.
by the way.
Oh, this is great weather for them, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect.
Cool evenings and then warming up during the
People
days.
don't realize that when the nice, cold, extremely cold weather gets here, the pansy is a pretty tough cookie.
Right.
And it will fall apart. We'll just fall down on the ground when the cold gets there because it's not going to grow just like nothing else is going to grow. And when the sun, it starts warming up, they pop out and you're going to have huge amounts of color, which
Sure.
is what we've got right now. But that was 10,000. We had, I think we potted up somewhere in the neighborhood of 13, 14,000, and we had to replace some, so we always have extra for that.
Wow.
And let me tell you, it takes a long time to put those out too.
I bet it does. Now, how many people actually work on the gardening aspect? There's you and Ann Barklow, and
Right.
who else?
Now, Renee Sproul, she does most of the propagating. She does all the propagating right now.
Okay.
And so all of the plants that we have in the house right now was propagated by her, and she does a great job.
Okay.
And she's learning a lot. Ann is over the topiary portion, and she's got one person that works for her. I've got two that helps me out, but when the weather's inclement outside, we're going to go inside and we're going to tackle those topiaries because there's always something to do in a greenhouse.
Sure.
And so if it's raining, we're in the greenhouse. One of them. One of the two.
Yeah. So that's a really good thing. Now, since we're almost out of time, but one of the questions I think everybody always has a question is about fertilization. You know, if you're used to throwing 10, 10, and 10 on it, should you do it that every year?
Well, again, it depends on the type plants that you have.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the gardener that's going to say, well, it just better get whatever it's going to get where it is. And if
You
it doesn't
believe in
grow
throwing
there,
it in and hoping it makes it.
Hoping it makes it.
Yeah.
But no, we do put fertilizer out on the plants. We don't want to put it out too early. We're going to start throwing some fertilizer out on some of the shrubs this next couple of weeks. And then as far as when I mentioned earlier about the grass and the soil samples, the reason you want to do it early is if you have to put lime on the soil or on the grass, you want to put it out early so that it has a chance to really break down and benefit the grass, which is in the summertime.
Okay.
So that's the reason for that. So your soil samples for your grass need to be done, say, last year.
Oh.
And
But the one thing that you're saying is, or one thing that I have heard particularly lately is just because you did 10, 10, 10, I'm just using that because I
Right.
know that one, for last year, doesn't mean that would be the right thing for this year.
well, you want a balanced fertilizer. You want a fertilizer that has all of the elements in it. And there's about 17 or 18 different elements that go into your fertilizer. Your majors would be your nitrogen, phosphorus, and your phosphate, or potassium. I don't know why I said phosphate. That is the same as phosphorus.
Okay.
But anyway, you've got those three are your majors, and then you got minors and so forth, and then you got your trace elements. So you want a complete fertilizer when you do it. And the numbers 10, 10, 10 just means that you're going to have, let's say, a 100-pound bag.
Right.
10% of it, 10 pounds will be nitrogen, 10 pounds will be phosphorus, and 10 pounds will be potassium. That's what those numbers are. It's
Sure.
just a ratio. So if you've got the middle number larger than the other two numbers, that means phosphorus. You're going to have more phosphorus. That's a starter fertilizer. You don't want the top growth going. You want the roots growing. So
Sure.
you're going to use a starter fertilizer for that. And then the other two, you don't really want to do much with those if you use a starter.
Okay.
But anyway, that's in a nutshell.
You're right. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood. But I had always been told, Dwight, that different types of plants need different types of fertilizer, and so that's why you wouldn't just use the same one year after year. And isn't that really why, while farmers rotate their crops around, because certain plants pull out certain things out of the soil?
Well, there's some plants that just take everything out of the soil.
Right.
So then they're gonna rotate the crops so that the next time around they're gonna put something in it. It doesn't require that much. Okay, Gracie is back in my
Yes.
in the room. She's looking at me.
Yeah.
Kind of sad. But anyway, yeah, some plants like azaleas need acid.
Right.
So you need a fertilizer that's primarily for the azaleas, and that would be an acid.
Sure.
To
So-
raise the pH.
Sure.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you want to do, you want to get with the master gardeners through Clemson Extension,
right.
so that they can help you, because it really makes a difference. And the other thing you have to be so concerned about, whether you've got shade or sun or how much of that, whether it's getting morning sun, afternoon sun, and then there's so many plants that really do well in the shade that we don't even really think about.
Well, people don't realize that you've got microclimates around your in your yard and around your house especially. You've got, say, one side, you can't put, say, the same plant on both sides of your house, and they do well.
Right.
There's going to be, because of that microclimate, you might have a plant that gets larger in one area and smaller in another. So you have to you have to get something that's going to be
Balanced.
Balanced.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dwight, always a pleasure to have you come down and see us. We know that you guys are working so hard down there, and we just can't wait to see all these topiaries. The first topiaries are going to be out at the links of Stony Point, and of course that starts May 5th.
That's right. We're going to have them out on the Thursday or Friday before the tournament, and they'll stay out through the tournament, and then we'll go pick them up.
Wow. And then they'll head back, I guess, for a quick respite.
Yeah, let's just hope that nobody rides them this year.
Okay. And that is one of the things that you want to bring up as we close out the show.
That's
that,
right.
These topiaries are to look at. They're not to climb on. They're not to ride. They're not to throw things at. They do take a lot of work to create and keep them going.
That's right. And one of them on the tail end, just right before the Festival of Discovery, somebody tackled the T-Rex. Now, they may have thought that was funny, but it tore the frame.
Sure.
So we did have to go back and we had to repair it, and that was extra expense that we didn't really want to have to do.
Sure. And of course now they've got these cameras uptown, so people, be aware of this. Don't be messing with the topiaries. Get out there, get your picture taken, enjoy them, but don't put the kids on top of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why we have that photo op topiary.
So everybody.
So you can, you don't want to climb on it,
Right.
but you can stick your head through it and you can snap.
Now, is it going to be like a flower around it, like a
It will.
daisy or something like that? I don't know. Yeah.
It's just whatever it's not going to look exactly like a flower, but it's going to be close. It's going to have petals, and it'll be great, and we'll even make it better next year.
Well, I think it's terrific. Dwight, you and Ann and the whole crew down there do an excellent job of beautifying Greenwood. Thanks so much for coming by today.
Well, thank you.
All right, this is WCRS right here in Greenwood. Bye-bye, everybody.